Did you know that Jesus says in Matthew 10:27, "Whatever I tell you in the dark, speak in the light, and what you hear in the ear, preach on the housetops? And do not fear those who kill the body, but cannot kill the soul, but rather fear him who is able to destroy both soul and body in hell." Jesus is saying, if God tells you something at night, if he shows you something, you need to tell the people what he tells you or show the people what he shows you. That's what I do on my channel. God told me, Tara, you need to tell them what I tell you and show them what I show you. He spoke that audibly to me. The words of Jesus. I want to encourage you to do the same. If he's told you something and you're just keeping it to yourself, you're disobeying Jesus. What you hear him tell you in the night, speak it in the day. What you hear him whisper in your ear, cry aloud for all to hear. And don't be afraid when they hate you for your words. The one you should fear is speaking for all to hear, and he's telling you to not be ashamed of his word. He's telling you to not be ashamed. What you hear him tell you in the night, speak it in the day. What you hear him whisper in your ear, cry aloud for all to hear. And don't be afraid when they hate you for your words. The one you should fear is speaking for all to hear, and he's telling you to not be ashamed of his word. He's telling you to not be ashamed. I want to encourage you. What you hear him tell you in the night, speak it in the day. What you hear him whisper in your ear, cry aloud for all to hear. And don't be afraid when they hate you for your words. The one you should fear is speaking for all to hear, and he's telling you, don't be ashamed of his word. If he's telling you something in the middle of the night, he's given you a dream. During the day, he's given you a vision. You're hearing him speak to your heart. He's telling you something about what is to come. You're not meant to keep that to yourself. Jesus says, Tell them what he shows you. Tell them what he tells you. God audibly said that to me at the beginning of 2023. When he told me to start telling the personal part of my testimony, he audibly said, tell them what I tell you, show them what I show you. Those are the words, paraphrased, those are the words of Jesus. What I read to you before the song. We are to tell the people what God tells us. You know how in the book of Revelation we are told to overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony? Well, what's the word of your testimony? Your testimony is telling the people what God has told you, what God has shown you, what God has done for you, to speak it forth. And we're told that's how we overcome, by both the blood of Jesus and our testimony. So then the parable of the servants. To one, a certain amount is given. To another, a certain amount is given. To the third one, a certain amount is given. And they're supposed to do something with what they're given. Think of it in terms of a dream or a vision. You're supposed to tell somebody the gospel of Jesus Christ. You're supposed to teach somebody. You're supposed to witness to somebody. Or a talent he's given you, maybe to write Christian songs, maybe to do something else. Maybe he's put it on your heart to serve in some capacity somewhere. All right, these are things that he gives to you. But then in the parable, we learn that some of them did something with what they were given and some did not. And to the one who did not, he was called, or she was called, an unprofitable servant. You didn't bother to do anything with what I gave you, is what he'll say. You didn't do anything. You didn't tell them. You didn't show them. You didn't do what I asked you to do. And if you're like, well, God never told me to tell anybody, Jesus did. We just read in Matthew 10:27 when he says, if you're told something in the night, tell them. So Jesus did say to tell them, to show them, whatever it is. Well, show, you can't show someone else your vision, but you can tell them about it. But in terms of showing, God gives me riddles and I show you how to solve them. So yes, show. But to the unprofitable servants who don't do anything what they're given, what they have is taken away. They don't get any more. But to the ones who are profitable, who did something with what God gave them, he gives them more. He can trust them. So how does this play into what is going on right now? It's the time of the end. God's been watching us. Who can I trust? I gave them a task and they did it. I gave them something and they shared it. Who can I trust now to raise up and do something even greater? He's going to use for the greater those who have been profitable, who have proven themselves in the small things, that they're able to handle the bigger things. That's how it works. So there's still time. I encourage you, if God has given you something in the night, he has spoken to you, be profitable. Tell someone. I'm not saying you have to start a YouTube, but if God tells you to start a YouTube, start a YouTube. There's never been another time in history when this has been possible. He says, overcome by the word of your testimony, and there's something called YouTube, which is all about testimonies. The time is now, and it is the time of the end. Yesterday was the 1-year anniversary of the start of the count up. God told me to start a timer back on July 28th of 2023, and we just hit a year. We're counting up towards something. I don't know exactly what we're counting towards. Maybe it's a 1,260 days type of scenario. Maybe it's a something else. I don't know. God hasn't told me what we are counting towards, but I know that it's the time of the end. And the ones he's going to use at the time of the end, they're the ones who've proven themselves to be profitable. Just something to think about. All right, God bless you.